When she was a child, Phillis Wheatley was kidnapped from her family in West Africa, enslaved and shipped to the American colonies. But she would go on to become one of the most famous poets in the world, writing work that galvanized the anti-slavery movement. So how did she do it? In the summer of 1761, John Wheatley, a successful Boston merchant, bought a young girl to be a servant for his wife. She was seriously weak from the horrific voyage on the slave ship. He gave her the name of that ship, Phillis. Nobody knows what her birth name was. Quickly recognizing how intelligent Phillis was, the Wheatleys decided to give her a proper education. By the time she was 12, she was reading texts in Greek and Latin, and writing poetry. She was first published by the age of 14, and a few years later, one of her poems became wildly popular in the colonies. Many people doubted that such poems could be written by a young black girl, and John Wheatley had to convene a public gathering of the most respectable characters in Boston to prove it. In 1773, Phillis traveled with John Wheatley's son to Britain, where they met English aristocrats and secured the finance to publish a collection of her poetry. When they returned to the United States, the Wheatley family granted her freedom. Phillis continued to live with the Wheatleys and wrote poems about the injustices of slavery, her Christian faith, and the righteousness of the patriot cause against the British. Phillis even wrote a famous poem that celebrated George Washington's command of the Continental Army. Washington was impressed and sent Phillis a letter of gratitude. When the Wheatleys died, Phillis was left in a precarious position. Her poems were known, but they gave her no regular income, and she had no experience of physical labor. So, she married a free black businessman by the name of John Peters. Phillis continued publishing poems, but when her husband had to go to debtor's prison, she had no choice but to take on work as a kitchen maid. She fell ill, aged just 31. She had nobody to turn to, and she died alone. Phillis Wheatley was a trailblazer as a black female poet. Her words have lived on ever since, inspiring future generations of Americans to celebrate the revolution and call out the injustices of slavery.